Hey, I'm Alex Mackler from Board Game Co., and this is Where Are They Now?, where we're going to take a look at the past 5 years, the last 5 years, specifically looking at games I've played in all of the Decembers over the years. Where are they? How have they held up? What left almost right away? What stuck around? What has my mind changed on? Where, when, why? All of those things. And of course, timestamps as usual to everything down below. But starting off with December 2018. December 2018, I played a bunch of games, most of which are not here, and the one that is here, number 5, will shock you. I mean, number 3 will actually be the one that shocks you, but it's not that much of a shock. But let's dive into them. Starting off with Wildlands. Wildlands from Martin Wallace, by all accounts, a game I should have loved. And I was okay with it. I enjoyed it. This is before I was reviewing games on the channel officially, but of course I was still playing a ton of things. I tried Wildlands. I like Martin Wallace's designs nearly across the board. I like powers and abilities. I should have loved Wildlands, and it's a popular enough game, but for me it just didn't work. People are hyped about it, buzzing about it, and it fell flat for me. It has kind of become less hyped over the years. I can't remember the publisher behind it. It's not Osprey Games, is it? No. I can't remember who's behind it. But either way, Wildlands unfortunately didn't work for me. Then we have Mage Wars Academy, another game of powers and abilities, and this is based on the Mage Wars system. I've never actually played the full Mage Wars, but I did play Mage Wars Academy, kind of a slightly more accessible version of it. This is actually the game that probably made Arcane Wonders famous. Mage Wars, not Academy. But I thought it was okay. I was not overly obsessed with it. I enjoyed the card play, but I find I'm very picky about which card play systems, head-to-head dueling systems work for me and which ones I hold on to. I definitely like Mage Wars Academy, I do. I still want to play Codex. Codex, the real-time card game. I've heard good things about that. I've owned it. I've never actually played it, though, unfortunately. I've read the rules. I remember how the whole system. There's a lot of games out there that promise you like a Magic the Gathering-like experience, but in a more accessible form. Wildlands, to me, is one of the ones that delivers. Wizards of the Grimoire delivers. There are games out there that give me that experience. Unfortunately, Mage Wars Academy was good, but not great for me. Then we have Leo the Lion, which is still here. The only one of these 5 that's still here. Leo the Lion is Leo Calvini, Abacus. It's a memory game. It's a family memory game, but I find it charming and fun, and it doesn't hit the table as often these days. We've played it a lot over the years, but I find if you're looking for a memory game where you're going to have to sit there and work together as a family to try to remember where Leo stopped off along the way, it is a charming game that, despite being a memory game, is a really, really good game. This is not a game that I play because my kids want to. This is a game I'm happy to play with my kids. I will suggest to my kids, let's play Leo the Lion. It's just a good game. It's been around for quite some time and still standing strong. Number 4, Mythic Battles over here. Another game I should have loved by all accounts. Mythic Battles, a giant, skirmish game, powers, abilities, characters, all these fun things, and it kind of fell flat for me. I thought the dice combat system to me felt a little convoluted and not immediately intuitive, and the rest of it as a skirmish system felt good, but not great. And I think Mythic Battles, for me, the problem I have with Mythic Battles is a problem I've had with a lot of games over the years, which is a game that asks a lot of you, asks a lot in price, and shelf space, and rules, and how much content there is. I need that much out of it to love it. And I liked Mythic Battles, I did, but I didn't feel the love. I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, this is a game system that I want to have hundreds of dollars sunk into and 4 Calyx cubbies taken up. And I didn't feel that from it. And I just liked it. And so that one moved on. Contrasted with Deep Madness, on the other hand, Deep Madness played in December 2018. I like Deep Madness a lot. I really got into the narrative flavor. You find yourself on a base, abandoned. You're slowly uncovering secrets of what happened along the way. The whole aspect you have to dive underwater into like areas without oxygen and slowly be fighting both enemies but also time itself. I really liked Deep Madness. I thought it did an excellent, excellent job. I played it here and there over the coming years. It didn't last, unfortunately. I still think Deep Madness is excellent. For me, I just had too many games in that Zombicide adjacent genre at the time. And so Deep Madness, I think, is a genuinely good game. I think it was a lot of fun. I really thought, like a lot of people love Nemesis. Nemesis, to me, is a game system that has given me some really good games, but overall Nemesis to me is not a game system I'm as in love with as I am other systems. Versus Deep Madness, I think I like Deep Madness more than I did Nemesis. Ultimately, I think all of those have been replaced by me. My go-to game in that genre for me is Resident Evil. Specifically Resident Evil, the board game. I think that's been the one that gave me the most out of it in that vein of games. So, all of them good games. Resident Evil, the board game, is the one that lasted for me. Which brings us to 2019. 2019, we had slightly better luck-ish. I mean, these games lasted longer, but most of them still have gone away. It's one of the things I find interesting is going over the past 5 years, picking select games, and seeing which ones stuck around and which ones didn't. But in any case, we have Zombicide Invader, stuck around for years. I played Zombicide Invader, I thought it was a great game-ish, until I realized I never was really losing the game. This is a problem I had a second edition of Zombicide as well. Both systems, I've never lost a game of Zombicide Invader, I've never lost a game of second edition, I've lost plenty of Black Plague, plenty of Marvel Zombies, some Zombicide Disease. There are Zombicide games that I can lose, and I want those. Zombicide Invader was too easy for me, despite house ruling and trying to make it harder. It just didn't work for me ultimately in the end. Kept it for several years, and eventually with the announcement of Marvel Zombies, I said, you know what, I have enough Zombicide. I don't need to hold on to the ones that are not as up there for me. Then we have Rise of Queensdale. I loved Rise of Queensdale. This one technically left because it was a legacy game that I played all 20 episodes. I don't remember how many they were. There were a bunch of episodes, but I played through all of it. I'm happy to play through it again. I would love to get Rise of Queensdale and play through it again. I think Rise of Queensdale is an excellent game, and I'm looking forward to diving through it again. It basically kind of feels in the same vein as Charterstone, so if you like Charterstone, I think you'll like Rise of Queensdale, and vice versa. Both give them a very similar gameplay arc as far as building out your little kingdom and having things iterate and the legacy elements. I like Rise of Queensdale, and I definitely plan on playing it again someday. We have Arena of the Contest. I played Arena of the Contest for the first time in December 2019. This is actually, by the way, when I started the YouTube channel. December 2019 was when I started the YouTube channel, and one of my first videos was covering Arena of the Contest because I liked it so much. I was like, I'm going to do a video on this game. And so Arena of the Contest, if you've been watching the channel by now, like I'm currently engaged in a paid playthrough of the series, but I've loved the game. I've loved Arena. I love Daenerys. I will say, Daenerys Adventures is going to be interesting to see where it shows up in my top 100, primarily because it's a problem I have with Gloomhaven, Frosthaven, and Daenerys, which is game systems that I play so much and spend so much time in that they go down because I feel like I've seen it. So, like, I love Arena of the Contest. I love Daenerys Adventures. I've also seen so much of it because I've been doing the gameplay series and playing it for, like, 4 or 5 hours every 2 weeks again and again and again, that while I still love it, I don't think I hold on to it once that gameplay series is done. Like, I wonder. This is the same problem I have with Gloomhaven and Frosthaven. Like, I could get rid of Frosthaven and Gloomhaven and not blink. I think they're great games, but I've spent so much time in those universes that I'm okay moving on. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Anyways, that's going to be Daenerys Adventures, Arena of the Contest specifically. Then we have Chinatown. Chinatown is a great negotiation game. I had Chinatown for years. I love Chinatown. I think it was great. And then, like, I don't know, 5, 6 years later, or 4 years later, I got rid of it this past year. So, roughly a year ago, I believe Chris George was visiting, and I gave him my copy. So, that must have been around a year ago. So, I mean, I guess Chinatown lasted 4 years in my collection, which is not bad at all. Again, the interesting thing as well is I am not someone who believes all games have to last forever. I think some games are try and get rid of. I think some games you hold on to for a year, 2 years, get some games out of it, and get rid of it. Some games stick around for quite some time, and then other games are lifers. And even lifers, I don't think of as lifers. I just think of a lifer as anything that lasts, like, 7, 8, 9 years. That's like a lifer, even if you get rid of it. Which I guess means it's not a lifer, but you know what I'm saying. You get what I'm saying. That's 2019. 2020, we have a few games. We have ISS Vanguard. I played a lot of ISS Vanguard in the first prototype phase, in the second prototype phase, and none at all in the retail release. I would love to play it. I just have so many campaign games taking my attention, but ISS Vanguard does not, I never once think about getting rid of it. I think it's a great game. I have had a lot of fun with it, and I want to play it more, but just the when is the ultimate question. We have Castles of Tuscany. This is going to be the announced offshoot of Castles of Burgundy, the spiritual successor, and that clearly had flavorings of Castle of Burgundy, and ultimately for me was a letdown. It wasn't even a bad game. I just felt, why would I play this over Castle of Burgundy? And so it was good enough, because it's basically Castle of Burgundy-ish. It was good enough that I held on to it for like 6, 7 months, and I realized it just wasn't going to be played that much, and so I got rid of it. Castle of Burgundy, on the other hand, still reigns supreme with like hours and hours. I mean, I have like 60, 70 plays of Castles of Burgundy under my belt this year alone, so that's a game that holds up for me. Then we have DEI. I played the prototype of DEI for the first time in 2020, December 2020. This is just going through it online with the designer, with Tommaso Battista. I was doing a whole late pledge video. This is when I was like, if you remember watching the early days of my channel, as I was doing more and more crowdfunding coverage, I started doing this series of why I did or didn't back an older title. And I did those because I hadn't been covering those titles, so I'd go back and take a look at, hey, I didn't cover this then because I didn't have YouTube, so let's cover it now. And so I did a why I didn't back for DEI, and that ended with me backing it, which has happened a few times. It happened with Plan Unknown, it happened with DEI, it happened with the Rome one, Foundations of Rome. So it's happened a few times over the years where I did a why I didn't back series and then backed it as a result by looking into it more, often by playing it. Like with Foundations of Rome, with Plan Unknown, with DEI, I reached out to the designers to play them so I can cover it for the why I didn't back it, and then proceeded to back all of them. So there's a reason YouTube costs me money. I say it all the time, YouTube costs me money. It makes money too, fortunately, but it costs me money. But anyways, that was going to be DEI. I played the prototype in 2020. And then lastly, for December of 2020, we have Kingdom Rush. I played Kingdom Rush, just for the first time then. Really enjoyed it. I think it's a fantastic game. And then it fell into the trap, which is a trap that I hate. It fell into the trap of, I'm just waiting for the next one. Meaning, I kind of played through it. I played through, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 games of it. I played a decent amount. I reviewed it. I played it. I may have done playthrough videos. I think I did. There's a playthrough over on Quackle's channel of me going through it. I think it's a great game. And then like, here's Elemental Uprising and a storage box, and you'll get it all in a year. And so I waited. And I pulled it up maybe once in that year. But then I waited. And then I waited. I've done this before. I did it with Guardians of Atlantis 2. I've done it with other games where you're waiting for the next game. So you're like, whatever, I have so many games, I'll prioritize other games. Because I'll just get to Kingdom Rush when I get the big upgrade box and all that. But it's been so long. Like, I still think I love this game, but it's been so long. Like, what am I supposed to say? Like, I love this game, but I haven't played it in a year and a half, if not more. So it's a hard spot to be in. I think it's a great game. My opinion of it has gone down only through inactivity, and the inactivity is there because I thought that I could rely on the year. Luckily, it's been in an interesting situation the past several years, so we'll see how it goes. I mean, I think they're doing fine, but they've had a lot of crowdfunding campaigns up in the air. Anyways, that was Kingdom Rush in 2020. Then in 2021, we have Hadrian's Wall from Garfield Games, the first Garfield Games game that I loved, and I think I'm ready to get rid of it. I love Hadrian's Wall, make no mistake. I think Hadrian's Wall is fantastic. I highly recommend it. I think over multiple plays, it has kind of gotten a little stagnant for me. I find myself going back to games like Gone Clever, back to Three Sisters, back to Fleet, and for Hadrian's Wall, I think it's so intricate that the parts that are repetitive wear on me heavier than in lighter game systems, if that makes sense. But I think it's fantastic. It is the best roll-and-write game I've ever played, but it's not the longest lasting in my collection, if that makes sense. Sometimes things, again, going back to my point, I don't think everything has to last forever. I think some things can be, flares that go up in the sky, burning bright, and then burn out. And I think that's what Hadrian's Wall is. Fortunately, they've just announced the spiritual successor, which I'll absolutely be getting, because another Hadrian's Wall, yes, please, give me more. And then maybe I'll get rid of that one too, 3-4 years later. So we'll see. But again, 2021, so it's lasted 2 years. 2022, yes, that's 2 years of my collection. I played it a lot in that time, had a lot of fun with it, and that's Hadrian's Wall. Then we have Encyclopedia. I love Encyclopedia. My only regret with this game is that I don't play it more. I think Encyclopedia is fantastic. It holds up for me. This is a 5 out of 5 for me. It has been a 5 out of 5. I think it's an intricate, rewarding Euro system. I think it's great. And we also have Mind Management in 2020 as well. 2021, Mind Management was again played. I think that's fantastic. That was like a near instant 5 out of 5. Those are some great games that have showed up in 2021. We had Mind Management, we have Marvel Zombies, and we had Encyclopedia, all showing up in December of 2021 and all being fantastic experiences. It's so interesting to figure out. Like, I'm always curious how many 5s I give out a year, and generally the number's been between 5 and 10, but sometimes I'm like, oh, there's only 4, and then suddenly you get like 3 in a row, and it's like, what happened this month? And I always feel bad. This month right now actively, I have reviewed a bunch of games, not 5s, I have like 1 or 2 5s maybe, but I've been giving out a lot of 4s and 4.5s this month, and I don't know what to do with that, but if I like the games, I like the games, so I hate doing it. And I hate giving out too many bad reviews. I hate giving out too many... Oh, not bad. I usually give more mediocre. It's usually 3s and 3.5s. But I hate giving out a bunch of 3s, 3.5s, and I hate giving out a bunch of 4, 4.5s. I like when there's like a spattering back and forth. But sometimes you just hit waves. Sometimes you hit a bunch of games that are better, and sometimes you hit a bunch of games that just don't impress. And so in December 2021, we got a bunch of games that were very impressive. The last game of December 2021 was The Key from Haba Games. It's a series. There's Murder at the Oakdale's Club. There's something theme park. There's a bunch of these in the series. A little kind of deduction games. I think they're more family friendly, but they're good for adults, good for kids. I think they're a really good series of games that ultimately for me falls in the category of I played it, I saw it, I did the thing, I enjoyed the thing, and then like 2 or 3 years later they left the collection. I guess not 3 years later because it's December 2021. 2 years later they left the collection. They didn't last forever. They don't need to last forever. They gave me the enjoyment that they did while I went through them. I enjoyed the puzzles I played through. I think I only had 2 of them. I'd happily get more of them, but I had 2 of them. I played through them both. I did a bunch of the adventures in them and then moved on from them. That brings us to December of 2022. 4 more games to go through. We have Welcome to the Moon. I don't think I played this for the first time in December 2022. I think it was before then, because I recall I got it at Gamma 2022. So Gamma would have been in March, April. So I had it somewhere in that range. I had played Welcome to the Moon. But I think it's fantastic, and I just continue to play it. I think Welcome to the Moon still holds up. It still, to me, is the best Welcome to game, giving you variety and just the good game system within it. So still here, talking about good roll and rights and roll rights that last. Hadrian's Wall, one of the things that lost me at Hadrian's Wall is this one map, and you go through so much repetitiveness when you play that. I think Welcome to the Moon gives you 8 puzzles with the same system. I like that kind of thing. For me, it's a weakness, if you will, but I like variety in gaming. I like being presented with different ways of approaching the same thing. I don't like perfection, I like variety. So Welcome to the Moon hits that. Marvel Remix, a year later, this one's still here. I really enjoy Marvel Remix. I'm surprised it's lasted as long as it has. Very often a game will enter my collection, and then 7 months later I'm like, you know what, I played it a few more times and it's good to go. And that just happens. Again, every game is at a phase at different points, but for Marvel Remix, I'm still here, still doing well. Just got Fantasy Realms, actually. I plan on trying that out and seeing how they stack up against each other, but Marvel Remix is still doing fine. I still think it's very much a casual game. It's not a game that I rave about, it's just a game that I have a good time with. Then there's The Loop, a game that I do rave about. I didn't play it for the first time in December 2022, but I did play it in December 2022, so I want to talk about the fact that every time I have a chance to talk about The Loop, I will talk about The Loop. I think it's amazing, I think it's incredible, I think it's just a ridiculously good game. So that's The Loop. I like it a lot. It's one of my favorite cooperative games these days. I think if you want a cheap, affordable, cooperative experience, they'll give you a lot of intricate, good gameplay. Plays best, in my opinion, at 2 and 3 players. Plays okay at 1 and okay at 4, but best at 2 and 3. Arguably best at 2, I think. I think it's a really good game at 2, but the Loop from Pandasaurus game is a fantastic game. And then lastly, we have Heat Pedal to the Metal. I played Heat Pedal to the Metal for the first time in December of 2022, and I thought it was good. And I did a first impressions video. I was okay with it. I was not over the hill. I was not in love with it. I thought it was a good game. I have played it more since then, and I think it's going up for me. I haven't decided whether to add it to my collection or not. Right now, it's not in my collection, but I haven't decided whether to try to get it or not. I think if I got it, it probably wouldn't be played, and then it would promptly be in a, games leaving the collection video. But right now, I do kind of like Heat at the moment, sort of. So, I don't know. I'm mixed on it. I'm mixed. I've had good gameplays of it, but not necessarily. I've had good gameplays of Heat. And I'm still kind of mixed on it, but that's, it is. I think racing games in general have been more mixed if they don't throw guns in the mix. If they throw guns in the mix, they are a little better, but they've still been mixed, honestly. It's been hard for racing games to really, really vibe and last in my collection. They're usually a fun time, but there's a difference between a fun time and a game that you pull off the shelf again and again and again. I think most racing games for me have been the first category and not the second, even the ones I currently have. Like Tiny Turbo Cars, I don't play it that often. What's it called? Oh my gosh, what are the other ones? I have like another racing game that's, I can't remember the name of it, so we're going to move on from that. But that is basically it. That is your Where Are They Now? A year of looking back at various games I've played over the past years. And until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. Hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.